Chapter 30, The History. Carl knocked and came in. Amy greeted him at the door and hugged and kissed him, then asked, "You want something to eat?" "No, Amy, I'm good." Then gave the order to two men with him, put down our things and guns, and then after introductions and greetings, they were dismissed. I got so much to tell you guys, I don't even know where to start. I interjected, and I thought I'd be funny. Well, I'm glad to see all you guys grew up and are mature now. I got him to crack a smile. Then I asked him. Magic seemed a little stressed, maybe tense. What's going on with him? Well, almost all of Australia went under during the flood. The rest of it the Chinese took over, and as far as we know, his relatives and friends are gone. He hasn't been the same since. He tried several times to go back in time to warn them, but to no avail. He may have explained the glitch in time travel to you earlier. Yes, he did, but not about this. About time travel a little, but not about his country. We suspect man in general is not allowed to change the destinies. Only Christ can do that, or God. It's because we would just mess things up. We may be able just to view history as it happened, and that is about all. But you two seem to be the exception to the rule. But we're not 100% sure about that, are we? That's right. There's no definite proof of it. I can look at it in circumstantial type of a scenario. Is he going to be all right? Amy asked. He's all right, as well as he can be. It's been tough on him. Amy brought us over some drinks and said, "I know the feeling. I'm starting to wonder about my family here and in the Ukraine, so I can understand." "Don't think about it now, baby," I said. Then Carl added, "Come on, Amy, sit a while. Let's talk. We're all in the same position. My wife is still unaccounted for, and my two youngest children as well. And they may have been captured by those demons." "So you married Sharon?" I asked. "Yes, I did." I knew this was still bugging Carl. I could tell it showed in his eyes. There was a stress there that made him look weary. "We're so sorry, Carl," Amy said as tears welled up in her eyes. Then she hugged him as I repeated the same. It's been a year or more. I kind of accepted the fact about it. But all we can do is look for them when we're out there, when we can. There's not much we can do now but wait and look. I get depressed about them sometimes, though. There's no closure. Amy and I then listened as I poured us drinks, and Carl started again. His eyes widened. "First, let me say, I reviewed, or rather skimmed through some of your logs, and wow, oh wow. It's going to take me some time to review all of them, days of them, and take it all in, especially the fact that there are humans, Earthlings there on that planet. What the heck?" "Yes, we were as surprised as you are," I said. Then Carl stated, "It is a great relief to know there is somewhere else to go at this time, though." I then said, "This is to put a thought in his head. There's a great deal we have to talk about, thinking of those that Kepler E belongs to. And then there's Kepler F and the alien factor that was once there." "What?" he said. "You heard me. It seems very strange to us that they don't want us on a planet they no longer occupy. You'll see it further back, and what's even more fascinating is that humans are already on Kepler E, How is there a close proximity between those two planets and factions while one is dead and the other is paradise? This is what we can't understand quite yet. Carl stated with amazement, "Wow, I guess I'll make a special point to view way more tomorrow." He continued with what was important here and now as I asked, "What principalities are in control now?" He stated, "There are groups in the world under a one world leader here on the East Coast and in Mexico. It is their military that we worry about. You already had contact with them and the rebels, let alone the aliens. You are lucky in a sense because not only do they still use our Air Force type planes, but they have also given them the abilities that we have, but not quite all of them. They have a different type of craft also, along with the aliens' craft. So now they might know for sure that the technology they weren't concerned about or thought we didn't possess. Plus, they have many different crafts. The aliens are like us. And hopefully, they haven't a clue as to your whereabouts. They might chalk it up to misidentification and forget about it. We hope, anyway. We have sensors and cameras and hidden objects in places all around us, and some are miles out as an early warning system. We know one day they'll cross what used to be the Mississippi River or cross over the Rio Grande from the south, looking for supplies and surplus. They'll be nosing around looking for people also who have been hiding. They capture people for evil reasons of their own all the time. Meanwhile, we have been finding the cities that aren't under the ice sheet and gathering whatever we find that we need as we build our fleet and stock our supplies. We look under the ice too, but it's more dangerous and time-consuming." He then took a shot and chased it with his mixed drink and started again. "We were well established by 2014, and this was the first year that our government was taken over by corporations with Monsanto at the helm and all them Democrats with their hidden agenda to depopulate the world. This is when they deregulated genetic engineered foods and seeds, and then by 2018 injected a serious virus into the world population, and millions of people died and are still dying in the most grotesque ways, all to save the remaining resources and to bring an end to overpopulation, which is false. It's a lie. Using the NWO and the rest of the UN's agendas to take over with a one-world government. And the person that leads that was called Klaus Schwab, and he had his right-hand people also, can't remember the name, Noah something. People would develop tumors and boils from eating GMOs for years, which eventually exploded and would cause staph infections, which would cause flesh-eating infections, then resulting in melting internal organs, and it all happened at once within a half a year. There was even more. We suspected it was somehow related to Ebola too, since the symptoms were similar, but they did even more. They sprayed our skies, and those aluminum oxides and radioactive barium definitely stopped and hindered food production. It also was infesting our water supplies, and people in general had it in their blood. We learned how to get it out of our systems, but a lot of people also died with complications from that. We don't know what the numbers are right now, but we assume it's hit billions by now. This falls right in line with what was prophesied then, I said. Yes, but there's more. He was clarifying what we had read in the mutants' minds earlier. Then they figured out how to create these mutants to hunt down anyone else that wasn't part of their corporations and news media's manipulation of the truth or belief in the world, in the new world leader. They created them by pulling just the right quick frozen bodies and reanimating them with implants, chips that control them from remote hidden bunkers, like controlling a drone. They're sick and soulless. They can implant regular humans also, so we check for those. We know where to look. Oh my God, Amy shuddered and shook as she said it. Go on, I said. It's kind of like in the old movies, zombies, but with cameras attached surgically so they can control them and see what they see. They are evil, soulless cyborgs, basically. We call them SMDZs, or $6 million zombies. SMDZs for short. Damn, was all I could say. On the upside, we went to Silicon Valley and retrieved the latest technology, especially gallium processors, which are more durable for space exploration against gamma rays. This is to stay ahead, and we retrieved some of AT&T servers and Google servers, then opened all the websites we could and copied as much of history, science, and all the information we could for prosperity and as a warning to our descendants. Because of the new flash drive technology, we were able to miniaturize our computers to save space. All of those discoveries made our systems more compact. We have what is the last of the internet working within the facility, which is also updated with new information and history as it unravels. But it's not in the World Web, it's just a private server in our base. We have professionals that we rescued, then we went out to get them all the tools they need to keep working in their fields, like doctors and dentists, so that we can handle any emergency. Everybody has their roles to play out and reason to fit in here according to their skills. But most here multitask when things get slow. We grow some of our own foods in our hydroponics gardens and have been using seeds that were not tampered with. We are about to get and raid the hidden seed bank in Northern Europe or Iceland, I forget. Anyway, that bank has the originals as well as engineered seeds that we will sort through, collect, then destroy the tampered seeds. We're kind of fighting a battle, but we know it's hopeless. We are outnumbered and outgunned. But with our tech, we're safe for now, or at least till they can counter what we have. That buys us time in order to leave here and colonize. We don't know if we will survive to come out of this, but if we survive, we will always have to be on guard till we know they can't touch us, even on another planet. Because of what I have seen on your log of what was on Kepler E, which has biblical proclivities, it seems to have given us a new hope and energy. It is as if you were guided." I started to pace as he talked. "We think that too. It sure seems like it," Carl said. "As far as the government that's in control, we don't know what they do exactly to those men and women they capture, but it must have to do with genetically engineered offspring for their use also, which is a horrible thought for me, as you know." "I'm sorry for you, Carl," Amy said, thinking of his wife. "Thanks, Amy. Here's a laptop for you both that has links for you to view. You'll see all of the changes in weather which was caused by the chemtrailing for weather manipulation and weather warfare from the end of 2013 till now. There's news, history, all of that's been archived. You will see all the mass deaths of fish and birds falling out of the skies and marine animal deaths. There's no one at first that could explain all of that. Dolphins, manatees, whales, fish by the millions washing up on the shoreline all around the world. We now know all of it was controlled by the New World Government, and then what helped their agenda by guiding people into eating their tainted food stocks. We do have a sort of a zoo for the species we have rescued, and we have most farm animals. They provide us with fertilizers and fresh meat, eggs, and we have some fish in small aquariums. But it's only a small dent in the problem, but we do what we can." We poured a couple more drinks, and we continued to learn. "Why not take out their leader and the heads in control?" I said. "Well," Carl stated, "no one knows where their base is exactly, or at least for now. We have thought about that, but we just don't know where they or he is located. Magic's thinking on making or retrieving an electromagnetic pulse, EMP bomb, with a high electromagnetic emission field. The electromagnetic pulse is in effect an electromagnetic shock wave. This pulse of energy produces a powerful electromagnetic field, particularly within the vicinity of weapon burst, or of the weapon's burst. The field can be sufficiently strong to produce short-lived transient voltages of thousands of volts. On an exposed electric conductor, such as wires or conductive tracks on printed circuit boards, where exposed, it would knock out most of their ability to be in control. That would make them highly vulnerable. It is this aspect of the EMP effect which is of military significance. It can result in irreversible damage to a wide range of electrical and electronic equipment, particularly computers and radio or radio receivers, as well as radar receivers. Subject to the electromagnetic hardness of the electronics, a measure of equipment's resilience to this effect, and the intensity of the field produced by the weapon, the equipment can be irreversibly damaged or, in effect, electrically destroyed. The damage inflicted is not unlike that experienced through exposure to close proximity lightning strikes, and may require complete replacement of the equipment, or at least substantial portions thereof. He's thinking nuclear too. And what we know about it is we can harden, and we have this whole facility and every ship we have to protect them. There are ways to stop that from them doing it to us. "What's our role, Carl?" Amy asked. "Well, you are venerated here after 21 plus years as explorers and each as one of the founding inventors that have given all of us the hope we now need with a new start on a new world. People here will ask you for guidance in everyday affairs, but with even more reverence since it all started with you. They think and know that God guided you both to do all this, so be ready and kind. I need to do more than that now, Carl. I need to be out there working too, and I'm sure Amy feels the same way. We haven't planned to stay long, but now, as long as it takes, I reckon. This planet is a dead end now." "What do you say?" I asked Amy. "After seeing the children we saved, how could I not agree?" "That's my baby." Carl continued. "They will probably vote you into a position at the next council meeting, probably as far as I can tell as heads of the exploration and our military because you have that background. So be ready for that tomorrow, and after that there will be a big dinner party for both of you in your honor. Amy and you will both be recommended to the Parliamentary Council by me to go and get those seeds. This first mission will also be good training in the operation of new crafts we have developed. So you will be in training, and I will probably be there, or one of us, to help you learn how to operate one of these new fighters." There was a knock at our door, and I opened it to Drew standing there. "My day is done." We waved him in, and then he unrolled a bag of pot which was grown in the garden. "You guys ready for a blast?" We both said sure, why not. Amy asked, "Who's in charge of this?" "Well, I am. Who else?" "No more stupid laws," he simply said. Then, "This helps with the rage we all feel here, especially now." "Okie dokie," was all Amy said with a funny look, as if backing out of a fight. Carl asked, "Have you and your technicians figured out anything new with the cloaking for personal use?" He answered as he rolled up, without missing a lick literally, "Yeah, we found out we can't reproduce webbing, and that was known on the net from before. Spider webbing is complicated, and they each are capable of producing several different strands for different uses, but there is far too little of it available, particularly now." "What if you had access to large amounts? Could you do it then?" I asked. "That would help, but it's rare here. I found a little in one of our storage areas to analyze, but to do this, make suits, I would need pounds of it to spin into usable thread. Then, no problem." "Is this a high priority?" Amy asked. He sparked up the joint and passed it, hesitating as he released the smoke. "This would, for a while, ensure that as we forge, no one else gets captured or killed, or at least higher odds that it won't happen again, or catching anyone with a suit. The need for personal force fields is something we are looking into also. The combination would make us pretty much invulnerable, because what they don't see will kill them first, right?" Then he laughed as he rolled the second joint. He hated what the greedy had done on our world, what our idiot politicians had done. They were bought out at our expense, and when your life is always in danger, knowing now what we all know made him extremely determined to save as many of us and normal survivors that he could. He summed it up. Everyone here knew what it was all about. Resources. This is what the human aspect of it is. Now that those resources were accessible from anywhere in the solar system and beyond, that made it unnecessary for any of this to happen, and would have been in the past if one single projectile hadn't changed everything. But no one was sure, if we gave our technology to the world 27 years ago, if it would have changed anything or made it worse. I said to them, it's as if the opposition guided us without knowing they helped us. That's right. Where did that voice come from, I thought. And then it dawned on me that it was me viewing this, and then that thought faded because I became mesmerized and quickly reviewed my life as it flashed by again. Okay, I see what we need to do first for Drew's project. What's that? They both asked in unison. First thing, and this seems to be a priority, is that I will need a crew and a ship to return to Kepler E. There is one place we came across, a tunnel that's lined with spider webbing. Amy and I both seen it. It was south and outside of the village a few miles. We visited it and we knew that it was webbing. Damn, how big is the spider? Drew asked. We don't know. We never seen the spider, but the Kepler Knights told us that it was what we would consider to be a spider, and it was very large. I don't think they feared it, though, for some reason. We never asked, as we were pressed for time. There was another weird creature. I don't know if it was what they were talking about. A giant spider lily plant that was capable of uprooting and walking. That might be it. I don't know. Why it would be in a cave, I also don't know. Tell us more, Carl asked. It was a carnivore mostly, and an omnivore, I guess, because it could not root for too long in one place. We also discovered that there is something with gravity, or specifically the difference of it here and there in respects of the planet's size. While we were on that planet, we learned that the gravity being different made us stronger. Our muscles seem to be more dense. It makes the animals there larger, since it's somehow less there than here. Then Amy added, the other thing is the humans there are also bigger, taller, and their longevity is simply unbelievable. The oldest human there is over 200 years old, our time, and he's the leader. And as far as their prodigy, we have no idea how old they will get, and there's more generations, at least 4, since the original people arrived there. Drew asked, their arrival? And Carl asked, what do you mean? Amy answered, they were transported from here over 400 years ago, or thereabouts. You'll see it in all our logs, but what we found out was really weird in a way. They were the original Roanoke settlers that disappeared along with a number of American natives. They call themselves the Croatoans, even now. Keep in mind that they are the native Kepler Knights now. I reiterated how important it was that we needed not and cannot make the same mistakes of the past that the earlier settlers did in the Americas. They were both mesmerized and trying to take this in since it was so fantastic, and I asked them the next question. How fast are the ships now? How long to make the trip? Say, 1 day to harvest the webbing, maybe a couple more days? Drew answered, to do this probably about 2.5 days max. Amy spoke up as she was reading my mind. You are not going without me. I couldn't lie. Yes, I am. I stated strongly. It won't take long. Oh, hell no. Don't even go there, she said as she rubbernecked the words out. Made me laugh. She imitated her new girlfriends. I had to laugh, so did our two best friends as she did this with a slight accent. I then grabbed her, trying to calm her down as she pushed me away, fighting my encroachment in her space. All along we giggled at her. Okay, my dear, let's go to the meetings first and we'll see what they want us to do first, I finally said as she stopped resisting me then. I had to finally give in for now. All this as Drew made the cracking whip sound and laughed out loud. Alright, you guys, get the hell out of here now. We'll see you all in the morning. She demanded them to leave, which was cute also. They complied and she hugged them as they left, then closed the door in front of me and pulled me close, then looked me in the eyes and said, Don't you ever leave me alone. Promise? I hesitated, looked away. Promise, she asked again as she repeated. After mulling it over and deciding, the thought came to me that no matter where we are in today's world or life, it's dangerous, and finally I said, yes, I promise. You know I couldn't take it without you by my side, right? She slapped me on the shoulder and I pretended that she was stronger than me as I cringed with fake pain. It was my way of reassuring her that she did have a say in my life, as I would in her life also. I complied with her wishes as I heard Drew in my head with that whip sound and laughed again. With your emotions running so high, I knew you wouldn't read that I was pulling on your chain, right? You know that. I know it now, she answered. I did the math. There was no way I could stay away from you 2.5 days. I know, my love. Are you getting the same premonition I am about doing that? I think so, she said. We both agreed, as this was happening, there would be no way that we or anyone here would survive here for much longer. Trying to develop new technology here and scavenging, we knew time wasn't on our side here. We both had instant deja vu. It was about all of us leaving and not looking back. That was the right path. There would be no coming back for us, but we couldn't say it yet. We both felt that it would unravel no matter what we thought we could do. Next, Chapter 31, The Council.